Okay, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Yay! So I'm Bailey Clordy. I've been competing for 10 years, almost 11 years, and this is my YouTube. So today I just wanted to go over my 2025 year-end review of how my season went. So I do have a 2-year-old daughter. She'll be 2.5 in January. So 2025 basically was the year of the comeback. So I wanted to put all my eggs in one basket and just try to do as many shows as I could, and that's exactly what I did. So I do have a list here. I had to write everything down. So going through 2025, we started with the Arnold Pro-Am. So that was the first year that they allowed pros and amateurs to compete together. Technically, you were allowed to compete in a different weight class in the past, but my issue was I'm a pro in the 82 division and I'm pro in the open division. So it didn't quite make sense to me to compete at the 73 division at the Arnold, although I competed at 73 in OSG a couple times. So I was never allowed to do the Arnold. And I've done it wasn't called the Arnold Classic back then, but that was our pro division for the Arnold. And that was back in 2020 where I competed. And I think I placed 9th that year, so second last. So it's been my goal to get back onto the pro stage now that Rogue took over the women's division. And I remember the first year that they had it, I was in the stands, I was very pregnant and I was crying because I just thought that was a great moment for our strong women, that we're getting that equal stage. And yeah, it was just amazing to watch. So that is my goal, getting back onto focus with the 2025. So that was my first year. I made finals, cried again. I remember I had just stopped breastfeeding because we decided not to bring the baby. So that was really hard decision for me, that I wanted to stop just so she could get used to having whole milk more often, because I knew 2025 was going to be a huge year of competing and traveling, and I knew that Josh and Blakely wouldn't be able to come with me very often. So we had to cut that off. I pumped for a little bit after, but anyways, yeah, Arnold was like my first comeback on a big stage where I actually felt competitive and I was ready to hang with the big dogs. And so making the finals my first year at Arnold Pro-Am definitely was an awesome start to the year, and I felt the fuel and the fire to go throughout the rest of my season. So then after that, I believe I did America's Strongest Woman under 82 kilos. So a lot of you don't know that I am a dual citizen with Canada and the US. I was born in Denver. So for some reason there was a lot of hate with me going down there and competing in both ASW and SWIC. Not sorry. I'm gonna do it again. That was really, really awesome to compete with Jessica and Megan. Really, really well-ran show, and I would like to do that again next year. So yeah, I was tied for first at America's, and then we ended up having to do sandbag over bar. Last woman standing, so Jessica took the crown on that one. And then North America's was the weekend after. Whew. So that was my second time doing North America's. Back in 2024, I was super, super lucky for JF to give me an invite. We brought the baby that year. I was still breastfeeding. She was still not sleeping, but I was just so happy to be back with my girls, be back on an international stage, be back in Quebec. So with 2025 being invited back again, I was an alternate. I really wanted to show that I have made improvements. Even with the toddler running around, I can still find time to train, and you can still have it all. You can have your family, you can have your health, you can have your wealth. So yeah, I ended up placing 7th, 6th. Yeah, okay, I placed 7th. So 2024 I placed last, 2025 I placed 7th. So I think that was a great comeback to that, and I'm even more excited for 2026. I have really, really, really big goals for that competition. And then after that, I think I had 2 or 3 weeks, and then we had Strongest Woman in Western Canada. So that one was 100% just for fun. It was on home turf. I didn't have to travel anywhere. Blakely can watch me. My parents came to watch. Really, really fun. I placed second at Westerns and got a very nice belt buckle, nice big belt buckle. It's always fun to do local shows, but that one was just strictly for fun. Like, can't say no to a local show and try to win a little bit of money too. And then after that, okay. So we competed on the Saturday for Strongest Woman in Western Canada, and then the next day, Josh and I had to get on a plane to Toronto. We actually filmed Family Feud Canada. We competed on there, so I had to throw that in to my competitions because I did not sleep the night before. My heart was racing and I was so nervous, just like a competition. But this is something I've never done before, so it was different nerves, and it was like my first competition that I did like 10 years ago. I had the same kind of nerves, but it was so fun. And it airs on January 8th. You can watch it on CBC Gen, and I believe it's at 5:30 Alberta time. So if you can figure that out, I would love to have a watch party with all of you. I'm so excited. So definitely recommend applying if you are interested in maybe dabbling on a TV show. That would be a good one to start out with. All right, so after Family Feud, then I had to host SWIC and Nationals, and thank God I had some help with that because that is the biggest show we've ever hosted in Canada. And that was a lot of work, and then having to compete the Friday night and then volunteer all day Saturday, Sunday, that was so hard. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was my 5th competition already. So, I'm already starting to burn out towards the end of the year. But I'm really glad I did it. I placed 5th, which honestly, I did better than I expected. I was more focused on the amateurs and nationals, but again, it was so fun. Like, I love those smaller competitions where there's only maybe a dozen or less of you, and you just pretty much hang out for the night. You do your best, and again, it's on home turf, so you can't say no to something like that. So SWIC's always a good one. And then to end off the year, I made a comeback at OSG. So I've competed at OSG very first year, 2017, and that was the 82 class. And then in 2021, they made the 73 class. So back then, before the baby, I sit at about 170 pounds. So I was trying to decide, do I gain 10 pounds and fill out the 82 class, or do I lose 10 pounds and compete in the 73 class? So in 2021, I decided to lose the 10 pounds. And looking back at pictures, oh my God, I was so small. Like, no wonder why my overhead wasn't going up. So placed 6th that year. 2022, exact same scenario, but I was pregnant, didn't know yet. Placed 6th that year, and then I decided to take like a few years off because it is an expensive competition to go to, and it's obviously very competitive, like it is Worlds. So I just had troubles of thinking of spending that much amount of money, and almost guaranteed that I wasn't going to make finals. So this year I actually felt ready. I did my online qualifier. I didn't get my automatic invite for this year, so had to do that part, which was like another added competition that I had to do. It was just like another thing I had to add to my list to do, was to do the online qualifier. But then I convinced Josh to do it in the Masters division, so it was just another competition that Blakely could come watch. We could both do together, which isn't very often. And I missed finals by half a point, by a hair, so I ended up in 11th. But even though it didn't show on the scoreboard where I wanted to be, like I hit a huge PR, like rep PR on my log. My deadlift that's twice I've lifted 525 in a deadlift ladder. And then I've never even attempted to lift heavier than that. So even getting 560 off the ground, that is making me so excited for what my deadlift's gonna look like in 2026. So that wraps up my 2025 year. So going into 2026, Arnold is gonna be my first show again. I signed up for the Arnold Pro-Am. Guess what? Max deadlift, 13 inches. So I think my max on a barbell at 13 inches is 585, and that was 3 years ago, I think. So we'll be almost 4 years after Arnold. So yeah, 585, like you're looking in the sixes at least. And I think if I can pull 560 off the floor, if that's my estimated 1 rep max, I don't even know what we're going to hit, but I am looking forward to it. So the difference between 2025 and 2026, I originally said I wanted to do less shows because I thought 6 shows 2025, it was just like a little bit too much. It doesn't sound much, but when you condense your season and you're doing 3 shows in 5 weeks, like it burns you out pretty fast. So I'm trying to spread them out a little bit more. So I wrote down all of my important, I really want to do these events, these competitions in 2026. Somehow I've written down 9. So how do we have 3 more competitions in 2026 that I find are important to do? How am I doing 3 more than this year? And I said I wanted to cut them down. So I'm going to have to play around with that. I don't know what to do. 2025 was all my eggs in one basket. 2026, I want to focus on not prepping for 3 shows all at the same time. I want to find a focus, stick with it. If I do hop into a local show, I will prep those events that week just to make sure I don't hurt myself, but I am not throwing it on my coach's plate because I know my coach is just shaking her head at me too, and she's so supportive and she wants me to do everything, but she's here with me for the ride. So it's not just trying to make her job easier. I need to make sure I'm okay too. Because when you do get overwhelmed and you compete a lot and you're hosting shows, like there's a bad side that comes out of you. So I don't want to be the person that's yelling at my husband on a live stream. Like I really don't want to get to that point. I just want to be happy that I'm competing, and yeah, I don't want to be overwhelmed as much in 2026. And I thought I think I was doing pretty good, but towards the end I was like, I'm not getting mad at Josh, but I'm just a grumpy pants. I'm tired and I don't want to take it out on Blakely. So, but yeah, so we're looking at 8 to 9 shows. So obviously I'm gonna go to the Arnold because my BFF Jackie Oshowski is on the big girl stage. So definitely can't miss that. I am watching that in person. I don't care. I'm getting back there. Watch out. So since I'm gonna come watch Jackie, I'm gonna compete at Pro-Am, 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm there. And then we have Alberta's Strongest Woman in April. So a friend in Red Deer, he'll be hosting that. So that's just more like to support him, and like he's putting in the effort to make a women's division. So I would love to show the support there, not just volunteering, but again, if I can just show up in my snowsuit and be prepped that week, whatever events they decide to throw at us, hopefully it'll overlap with the Arnold so I don't have to go off too much. Because after Alberta's, I think I want to try PSL. I've never done a PSL show before. The money is amazing, even though that isn't really on my radar first place. But I've heard they get treated so well. And Virginia Beach I haven't been to yet, so I think that would be a very nice place to visit in May. Unfortunately, I have a friend's wedding that weekend, but they're in the strongman community, so I think they'll understand if I miss it, if I do decide to go that route. But yeah, so I think PSL would be a good idea to throw in there. I think it's a high caliber competition, awesome ladies to throw down with, awesome promoters, and I know they show it on Sportsnet in the States, so I think it would just be really good publicity in general too, which has kind of been the goal since day one, is publicity, you know, get out there, get your name out there. And then this is where I'm trying to pick and choose. I obviously want to do Strongest Woman in Western Canada, as that is our qualifier for Strongest Woman in Canada. But then that's 2 extra shows I need to prep for. I don't want to say I'm not doing it because I really want to do it, but where am I supposed to pull from? Like, what show am I not going to do? Like, yes, the easy one would say Alberta's, but if I just need to show up primed off of the Arnold and I'm not saying winning, but like if I can podium, you know, there might be a little bit of cash there. So I think it's kind of silly not to do it. And same with Westerns, like again, not expecting a first place, but like podium's always the goal. So that's an easy paycheck to get that I don't have to travel too far for. Like that's a drive for me. And then after Westerns, I'm still waiting to hear from the venue to lock in a date. But Josh and I are going to host Alberta Provincials this year. It'll be in Calgary. So again, that's just another thing we have to add on to. But at least that's just the one. Like maybe two we might throw in there. So Provincials will either be in June or August. We'll hear about that. So depending if that's before or after, that's when I'll have to try to figure out when I'm gonna hopefully get my invite from JF to North Americas. Would love to be back. So that's on YouTube now too. If you look up Jean-François Caron Circuit Home Forts on YouTube, it's on JF's YouTube. They just uploaded that today, and they're 2 episodes long, about 25 minutes, and that was a fun one to watch. That's probably one of my favorite competitions that I ever do. Like the crowd is amazing. It's all like a 360 crowd. You're outside. It is freaking hot there in July, but Victoriaville, like awesome. I love going there each year. So I really hope I get my invite again. So that will be another main focus for me. And then I need to throw in Americas in there. Like I'd love to do 82 again. I was sad I didn't do America's Strongest Woman, like the open, but I believe it was a week after SWIC. And then, so that means it was in between Canada's and Worlds. And I just could not do it. And it was in Vegas. Vegas would be so fun to compete at.
Sorry, we're off to a great start. My phone ran out of storage and I already deleted a bunch of stuff, so I had to delete more stuff. Anyways, yeah, Vegas would be a lot of fun, but I just need to decide what's gonna be important because I would love to hang out with my American sisters a little bit more. Like, again, I have dual citizenship, so I don't understand why I wouldn't take advantage of that, even though some people disagree. Still can't wrap my head around that, but yeah, it's like more experience, more competitions, and I love competing, so I don't see why I wouldn't. And the like rule that they had this year was you get like top 8 getting guaranteed payout. That is definitely on my radar for 2026, whether I do one or both, I hope. And then SWIC, we'd have to decide. But if I want to do SWIC, that means I have to do Westerns. So it's like a 2 shows that I would have to do. So again, I love my Canadian girls. I love supporting the SWIC circuit, but I don't know. I can't do 9 shows. I think that's too much. And the obvious one would be to cut Alberta's, but if I'm not prepping for it, it's just going to be like a strongman Saturday. It would just be like an events day outside in my snowsuit. So, and then after SWIC, it would be OSG. So I would love to do that again. I would love to go back to Texas. I think that was a great location. It's hot, but not too hot. I don't know. I love Texas. Oh, love it. And yeah, Blakely can come to that one. Josh competes at that one. My family usually likes to come, so it's just like a nice little vacation towards the end of the year. And I don't know if they're like changing some things at OSG for next year, but if they are, I think it's going to be good change, so I think I want to be there. And then you need to think about going into 2027. Like, I haven't even started, we're not even in 2026 yet, and I'm also already thinking about 2027. So there's a lot of stuff that you need to like plan ahead for if you don't really consider it a hobby. Like I'll do it for as long as I can. Like I love it whether there's money or not, but the goal is to have it as like a part-time job because I'm not going to give up massage either. I would just love to do both and just like happily have 2 part-time jobs. And I do consider them both my part-time jobs. Just, one doesn't pay very well, but it pays for some trips. Like I basically get a free trip sometimes, and I think that's enough. So yeah, that is that's my 2025 wrap, and that's me going into 2026 like full steam ahead again. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to make some decisions, and I'm just excited to hang out with my girls. And we have some women in the Alberta moving up that I get to compete with at the Arnold. And then hopefully more of them come out for Westerns, and it's just going to be good. And I'm just so excited to just compete, and I'm still learning about myself, like being a mom and being an athlete, and like the stuff that I'm learning about myself too, like now that I'm just done breastfeeding and my body's changing now and my hormones are shifting again, and being in a new weight class, because technically I was a 73 athlete and now I'm an 82 athlete, but now I'm kind of creeping into like back into the open again, because that's what we compete in Canada. But the goals that I have, we're going to have to maybe focus on some more open shows, but most of these are open shows that I'm doing. What, two shows are weight class? So yeah, Bailey getting beefy this off season. But yeah, yeah, being like, I know I talk about it all the time, but I also don't at the same time, is just having a kid like really change things, but in a good way, because I'm figuring out like who I'm remembering who Bailey was, and now I'm figuring out who Bailey is, like not just as a mom, not just as an athlete, but like all the layers that go more into my health, not just in the gym. Like there's other stuff kind of going on due to like having a baby and turning 30 and postpartum shit. I don't know. I don't know. It's like all new to me, and I'm just trying to navigate it with the gym. And so once I get like my hormones and like now that I'm not breastfeeding, like all that stuff sorted while doing all my stuff in the gym, I think once those two things come together, then I'm like, I already feel so great, but I think I'm already like 2026 is going to be awesome. As long as I just keep taking care of myself and focusing on me, and then enjoying the time that I have with baby and enjoying my time with my husband, like finding just a balance in all aspects of my life, like I'm happy. And like keeping my circle small, happy. Like life's good. I'm just happy. Anyways, that's my wrap up. If you have any questions or anything you want to see, watch, talk about, like always climb into my DMs. I'm pretty much an open book. Um, and yeah, I just like hearing myself talk sometimes. I get into moods where I just want to talk and just yada yada. And yeah, I think it's just a Leo thing, but I have my moments. I'm like a very tamed Leo until I'm not. So hopefully I can get like one or two videos out per month. We'll see how the editing goes, because I did have to do this on my phone. I fricked around with my camera for the longest time. Figured out the mic doesn't work with the camera, so I'm hoping the quality looks okay on my phone, and I think that'll actually be easier to edit and upload on YouTube. It's just the editing part I'm not too sure about. So if it's not too hard, I would like to make like at least 2 videos a month, and yada yada. Yay. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and thank you for the support since day one, and thank you for the support starting today. And I'm just excited to see where this takes us together. And I'm excited to do it with you guys. Thank you.